businesses being held hostage by scammers.
When you have a business that's ran strictly off social media, people are kind of freaking out like myself, and yeah, we're willing to pretty much do whatever we can to get access back to our business.
And some good news if you're hunting for a new place to bag a buck. We'll tell you about this Airbnb-type platform for hunters.
It's giving people access to private lands while boosting the bottom line for Montana farmers and ranchers. Your MTN News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Andrea Lutz.
And I'm Russ Riesinger. It's no secret that online scammers are running wild these days. One Billings business found out how devastating that can be when it fell victim to a global Facebook scam.
The scam takes control of a user's profile, locking them out, and then holds the account ransom to get it back. Our Kelsey Marison reports.
For small business owners, social media is often the best way to promote yourself. And for Courtney Kirkwood, she worked for 15 years to grow her online following. But now she's scrambling to get that presence back.
I'm watching this constantly.
In today's high-tech world,
Now it's like not letting me in. I'm a little scared.
social media can oftentimes make or break a business.
We actually do everything on social media. We don't even have a website. I'd say probably 80% of our sales are online, and we're shipping out to people.
But for one Billings small business owner, it's now turned into a nightmare.
I went to go to my main Facebook page, and when I clicked on it, it said that it had been disabled. And so then I went to my Blush business page, and I had no power, like I couldn't do anything with it.
Courtney Kirkwood owns Blush Boutique in Billings, a woman's clothing and accessory store located inside of Belle Blanc on Broadway. Being a small business owner, Kirkwood did everything she could to expand her sales, and that included growing a mass following on her boutique's Facebook page.
It took a really long time, even just to get where we are now, 5,000 followers over 15 years.
But she now finds herself locked out of her page. She's the victim of a scam known as the Lily Collins Facebook hack, mainly targeting small business owners. Hackers break into Facebook accounts, change passwords, and then ask for huge amounts of ransom money to have access restored.
In the text, he flat out said, "How much is it worth to you to have access back to your account?"
And Kirkwood isn't alone.
They're from Malta, Singapore, England, Europe.
Diane Zimmerman is an artist in Houston, Texas. In 2017, she suffered a brain injury that impacted her memory, so she turned to Facebook to relive memories from years past.
I go into Facebook and click on memories to see what I posted from 2015 to 2019. It's really important for me to read what I wrote that day. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember feeling that.
She too is a victim of the scam. She and more than 900 others are a part of the Facebook group Hacked and Changed Account to Lily Collins, formed solely for victims of the scam.
Every day it's sort of like Groundhog Day to read the post like, hey, I was just hacked, and they tell me I can't, there is no recourse.
A far-reaching problem with no solutions in sight.
Facebook, Instagram, Meta, and nothing. Nothing back.
In Billings, Kelsey Marison, MTN News.
A hearing over abortion rights in Helena pushes lawmakers to their breaking point.
Some state senators walked out today while the bills were being discussed and didn't come back. MTN's Jackie Coffin takes us inside the contentious hearing.
Senator,
Mr. Chair,
just a second.
Three
Senator,
Democratic senators walking out mid-hearing and a fourth to follow. An hour into a hearing on a hot-button issue.
Abortion debate.
On Tuesday, the Senate Judiciary Committee heard 3 bills restricting access to abortion. The first up, House Bill 721, a bill prohibiting so-called dismemberment abortions, and the discussion quickly turned graphic.
That this bill restricts tearing apart a living, undelivered human being.
Supporters of the bill saying the details are a reality. Billings Senator Jen Gross, a Democrat, vocal in the hearing, saying the testimony was going too far.
Mr. Chair, I'm also going to object to terms like barbaric.
And it was when the discussion compared abortion to satanic ritual, Gross and 2 other Democrats had enough.
I'm going to recommend that the minority not participate in the remainder of this discussion if we are going to Satanism. Thank you.
Senator,
Mr. Chair,
just a second. Senator, as legislators, we get a lot of opinions.
Senator Gross says it's the 4th session in which she served on the Senate Judiciary Committee, and she's never seen nor participated in a walkout before.
The commentary and questioning of other members on the committee had nothing to do with the bill. and there was no reason for us to stay and sit for that.
Senator Gross said after that moment, Democrats and Republicans agreed to disagree over decorum in legislative hearings.
I have known the chairman of this committee to be very fair, and I have never seen this be allowed to happen until today.
Senator Chris Friedel, a Republican from Billings, said the floor should be open to all opinions and discussion.
However you feel, how heinous it is, or how disruptive or how painful it is, that is the job of the legislature.
The rhetoric of a hot-button issue pushing legislators to the edge over an issue anything but settled. In Billings, Jackie Coffin, MTN News.
It's the Final Four as Billings Schools trustees move closer to choosing a new superintendent. Two of the final candidates will go before trustees tonight, both of them from out of state. Dr. Erwin Garcia is the current assistant superintendent of Houston's Independent School District in Texas, while Matthew Neal is the chief executive officer of the Woodland Park School District in Colorado. Then on Thursday, the other two semifinalists will be interviewed. Brenda Cook, she's currently the executive director of Billings Public Schools, a position she's had since 2011, and Tom Peck is the superintendent of Lewistown Schools.
The search for a new superintendent is happening at a time when it's been a real struggle for many other districts in our state to find their leader. Tonight, Q2's Alina Howder takes a closer look at some of the reasons for that and why it could be even harder in the future.
It's often the most rewarding jobs that are the most demanding. That's especially true with school district superintendents. There's currently a superintendent shortage across the country, and Montana isn't immune with 16 openings across the state, including Billings.
From explosive protests
because the school board was not listening. Our superintendent is not listening.
To combative school board meetings.
We saw just an explosion of emotion, right?
The last few years have been challenging to say the least for school superintendents all across the country.
The masking, no masking, vaccination, no vaccination, sex education, curriculum, you name it, critical race theory, all of the above.
These are just a few of the factors behind a national shortage of school superintendents. And the numbers are shocking. According to the American Association of School Administrators, 25% of superintendents nationwide resigned in 2021.
The job just is a lot more complex and difficult than it used to be, so people are not necessarily choosing to go into the superintendent's role.
Dave Wick is not only the superintendent of Columbia Falls School District, he's also the president of the Montana Association of School Superintendents. 16 positions are currently open in Montana.
Our superintendents are aging. Some of us are retiring after many years in the field.
Both Wick and Upham will be retiring this year after decades in the school system, and finding replacements hasn't been easy.
What I'm really concerned about, Alina, is less people going into the education profession in the classroom. I mean, we have fewer students in our university systems that are in education right now.
And fewer educators means a smaller pool of superintendents to choose from.
Low pay has something to do with it. The cost of living is higher than the salary that we're offering.
Despite that, both men are optimistic.
I have more concerns about people not going into the field of education, but I have more hope that if we'll play our cards right, it's a great profession. It's a great living.
In Billings, Alina Howder, MTN News.
Ahead on the MTN News at 5:30 here on Q2, many high school seniors will soon be faced with some big choices. Today, a career fair was held to give them an idea of their options.
But first, Cycle to Soar, how hopping on a bike this weekend will make a big difference for those living with disabilities.